Okay. Let's find the stream again. Hopefully it won't take too long. Is that it there? Ah. Gotta love Twitch's ads. Can't really check the stream just yet. I'll have to give myself about 30 seconds. But I believe this is the correct stream. But hopefully we'll get through qualifying without the lobby breaking. We back. Quite right, Gibby. Quite right. I think everything is working as it should. Yeah, good. The audio's working, the chat's working, the stream's working, everything is working. Hopefully the game works. So, hello and welcome everyone to round 11 of the AM1 Championship here on Contest of Speed. We're back for another week of racing, and this time we're at Circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix. Built in 2012 by track-making Supremo Herman Tilke, COTA is a 3.43 mile, 20-turn course that was created to revive the relationship between the US and Formula One. The circuit can be quite brutal for the player. The opening high-speed Maggotts and Beckett style S section, for example, is tough to get right, is a complete nightmare at the best of times, and tends to be a warning haven. Another example is the Turkey Turn 8 style triple right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. Losing it here can easily result in the driver crashing into the race-ending barriers. I've done it on a couple of occasions myself. There are two primary overtaking opportunities on the circuit. With the assistance of DRS, a driver can try and pass into the uphill hairpin of turn 1 and into the sharp left-hander of turn 12. We may also see some big sends into the tight hairpin of turn 15. The natural racing line at this corner has a very wide entry, so we may see drivers send it Kvyat style down the inside. From my experience as a commentator though, Circuit of the Americas has the capability of creating great racing. Not all the time, but sometimes it can create really, really great racing. So hopefully we will see that for today's race, if this game is working accordingly. And just a little bit of news from the previous race. There were two stewards' reports that resulted in penalties. There was a 5-second penalty handed out to Aaron Carey for not handing footage over to the stewards when they inquired about an incident. There was also a penalty point given to Cam Tizzle, who I think is joining mid-session, for driving in AI. That's against the rules, so he was given a penalty point. And there was also an incident between Bursey and Cameron that we saw in Suzuka, where we saw Bursey was sent to the Shadow Realm at the hairpin. That was just colossal desync between the two, according to the stewards' report, so there was no further action taking place after the stewards reviewed the footage, so there was no penalty from that incident. In the Drivers' Championship, Kos Passassin is leading. Rather, TTG Passassin, they haven't changed that on the website. He's on 177 points, followed by Barmer 22 on 156. Andy Wu is third on 93 points, so you can see it's now a two-horse race in the championship. Arbar is in fourth place on 89 points, followed by Cameron, Cos Cameron, on 74 points. In the Constructors' Championship, Aston Martin are leading on 235 points, followed by Mercedes on 230, so it's pretty close in the Constructors. McLaren are third on 133, so similarly to the Drivers' Championship, in the Constructors, it's looking like a two-horse race. It's then followed up by AlphaTauri on 107, then Williams on 76, then Ferrari on 70. And for the race tonight, in terms of the weather report, light cloud for qualifying, as we can see. And in the race, overcast and light cloud, so there shouldn't be any wet weather interference. And that's always good news, because that means the racing tends to be quite a bit better. But that's it in terms of news. We can now fully focus on qualifying as I drop my phone onto my foot. That hurt quite a bit. Ow. Currently, Cameron at the top of the table with a 31.8. I imagine a lot of these guys are setting times on the soft tyre. They are. Some on the mediums, such as Barmer and Aaron. Barmer crossing the line to set a 33.3. Showing the pace of the medium tyre, I suppose. It's not quite as quick on raw lap time. Well, raw initial lap time compared to the medium tyre here. Circuit of the Americas is one of the few racetracks where I think you can actually do a two-stop here, if I recall correctly. But of course, that will be shaken up if we see any safety cars throughout this race, which is fairly likely due to the demand of the racetrack. Tell you what, we'll take advantage of this. We'll go on board with the American team on the American racetrack to give you a guided tour of the circuit, heading up the hill around turn 1. It's a very unique turn 1, very steep uphill approach, very unique braking zone as well because of that approach. Through turn 2, and now into the Maggots and Beckett style S section 3, 4, 5, then into turn 6. It's sort of like a double apex right-hander. Into turn 7, and we're climbing up a small hill here through turn 8. Then into turn 9, very sideways there, losing traction. Very difficult to find traction through there. Through turn 10, that little left-hand kink. Then into the hairpin of turn 11, where we may see a little bit of action, particularly early in the race. Now down the, I suppose, back straightaway of sorts with DRS wide open. Heading towards turn 12. See here, Aaron reaching 319 kilometers an hour as he goes through turn 12. You can cut quite a bit there if you want to. There's a bollard usually on the inside that you use as a reference. Through turns 13 and 14, then into the hairpin of 15. You see how wide the approach is. So drivers have the opportunity to really send it down the inside. Through turns 16, 17, then into 18. You see they're weaving at the wheel, trying to find grip. Into the tricky turn 19 that has a blind apex. Staring right at the sun as they go through turn 20. Open DRS, cross the line. Aaron sets a 34.0, 7/10 of Barmer's time on the same time, and almost a second behind Andy Wu, who's set a time on the mediums as well. Yellow flags being displayed. Is that Electric Blade, I guess, just going slowly through the first sector, just bringing out yellow flags. He might be out of fuel as Bursey abuses track limits a little bit there at the exit of turn 9. But I suppose if the game doesn't give you a warning, then there's nothing wrong with it. Exiting the hairpin. Cam has left the session again. He's really struggling to connect. Heading down towards the heavy braking zone of turn 12. We saw Aaron hit 319 kilometers an hour. Bursey doesn't quite hit that. He hits 316. Around turn 13. Then into turn 14. Oh, and invalidates. Cuts too much there at 14. Round tight. Turn 15. And very wide there too. He'll probably duck back into the pits. Either that or he'll actually complete his lap so he has a reference for the rest of qualifying. Let's see. No, he'll just duck back into the pits. I also find pit entry to be a bit of a hazard as well. From my experience doing league races here, I have a tendency just to overshoot pit entry just a little bit. I feel as if I can take quite a lot of speed through there, but I genuinely can't. By taking too much speed, the car understeers into the barrier on the outside. I've seen a few people do that, and I've done it once myself, so drivers have to be quite mindful when entering the pits, not to go in too quickly. But they also can't afford to cut the corner too much at pit entry, because you can cop a penalty, or at least a warning by doing that. Express exiting turn 18, coming around 19, one of my least favourite corners on the calendar. I'm not a fan of turn 19. Like, I don't use racing line, and it's so difficult to spot the apex at turn 19. It's really, really tough to spot. Same with turn 3. Turn 3 here is really, really tough to spot without racing line. slightly blind on approach, so you sort of have to guess where you want to go. As someone has joined the session, it's Cam, he's in. See there, the leaderboard's gone a bit funky, but that's alright. It'll sort itself out soon. But by making his way towards the second sector split, just in front of him is Passassin, our current championship leader. Coming through turn 12. What does the clock say for Passassin? 1 minute 1.4 effectively. And apparently purple to the middle sector as Cam has dropped out again. Through the triple right-hander. Keeps it pinned. Oh, car didn't quite look too stable at the exit of the triple right-hander, and he's made a mistake at turn 19. Here comes Arba. He hasn't invalidated. He's used up all his battery, crosses the line, goes to pole position. There we are. We'll be happy with that. I guess Arba isn't too pleased with Passassin, maybe. Stuck in his dirty air. Still, he's on pole. Either that or it's a happy way because he kind of gave him a toe down the back straight between turns 11 and 12. I'm not sure. It's very difficult to describe the body language of some of the cars, especially when the driver inside the cockpit isn't really doing anything. Cameron jumps up to pole with a 31.3. Bersey getting ready to set a flying lap. A couple of cars behind. As Barmer jumps up to third place. Wingett ducks into pit lane. Jack coming towards the end of his lap around the final corner. Crosses the line. P2 for the Red Bull with a 31.6. Beating Arba by, that's 58 thousandths of a second. In fact, look at that. Look at the timing screen. Arba and Peyton setting the exact same time. A 131.690. How about that? That's pretty cool to see. Pretty nice number as well. I think Assassin is... he's coming into the pits, I see. Bersey is coming towards the end of the second sector. He's got one more corner to negotiate in this sector. Turn 12. Nice wide approach. 1 minute 2.2. I think that is about 0.8 slower than what Passassin set in the middle sector. Around 16, 17 and 18. See, they're modulating the throttle there a little bit. Cameron getting out of the way. Through turn 19. And around the final turn. DRS open up to the line. Bersey goes 8th quickest with a 32.5. Tell you what, we could probably get rid of this tyre graphic. The leaderboard still takes up way too much space. And I wish I could move everything about, but I can't. Electric Blade coming towards the Sector 2 line. He's up by 0.2 of a second. That's a healthy improvement. Coming through the final sector now. Third gear through turn 15. There's a slow McLaren in front. Kit and Petta, I think, getting out of the way. One more corner to negotiate for Electric Blade. Comes around turn 20. Up to the line. Jumps to P9 with a 32.572. Aaron, he's coming through turn 11. Heading down the back straightaway towards turn 12. Top 5 in the championship, in this championship? Or in the league wholly, including Europeans? Chunky. Yes. I'm guessing you mean in this championship. What's the difference? Well, I can tell you the top 5 in the championship. I can't really tell you the top 5 in the league, because I don't do European stuff. So, I can tell you the top 5 in the championship is Cos Passassin. He's currently in the pit lane on 177 points. Barmer is P2 in the championship. He's currently 6th on the leaderboard. He's on an outlap, actually, right now, on 156 points. Those two are sort of the top 2, the clear top 2 in the championship at the moment. Andy Wu is 3rd, this man on screen, on 93 points. Then Arba, he's on an outlap. He's 4th in the championship on 89. Then Cos Cameron, he's still in the pit lane. He's 5th in the championship on 74 points. That's the top 5 in this championship. In the league, though, I have no idea. Don't follow the European stuff, so I'm sure there are plenty of quick drivers in the European tiers, like properly rapid. It's only natural, really, for there to be really rapid drivers in the European scene. Electric Blade, I think, has retired in the pit lane. His teammate Aaron is currently on a flying lap, I think, as Arba exits the final turn to go onto the pit straight to begin his, what could be his final flying lap with 2.5 minutes left in the session. Heading up the hill towards turn 1. You can see a nice wide approach as they go through the hairpin, just to try and open up the corner as much as they can. Through turn 2. Now through the S's. Turns 3, 4, and 5. There we go. That's alright. I'm happy to answer as many questions as I can. As Arba was quite a bit down in the first sector, so he's probably going to back out. Although he's still using battery. But he was 3/10 down in the first sector. So, I don't think he'll properly complete that flying lap. He'll probably back off in the final sector and have another go. Jack coming through turn 1, down the hill. Through turn 2. Now the S's. Turns 3, 4, 5. Then there's double right of 6. Take a nice early apex, you take a late apex to open up turn 7. Then through turn 8. And apparently purple to the first sector. Oh, sideways! He's not going to be purple anymore! Oh dear. There goes Bummer. Hello Bummer. Bye Bummer. Or careful, you'll get disqualified if you drive too far backwards. Well then. I don't think he has to worry about getting disqualified now. What he does have to worry about is a completely shattered front wing. His qualifying's over. Cameron making his way round turn 1. Currently on pole with a 31.3. Passassin, though, our championship leader, has been quite rapid in qualifying. He's only got one shot to try and claim pole position. Apparently purple to the middle sector. Right on board with our championship leader around turn 15. Short shifts to 3rd to find the traction. Around the triple right-hander. Very nice. Turn 19, 5th gear. 6th gear. Keeps it in 6th for turn 20. Opens DRS, crosses the line. Jumps up to P2. He'll be fairly happy with that, considering he didn't set a banker time beforehand. It's a pretty solid performance there, considering the circumstances. Cameron, he's up by 5 thousandths of a second in the first sector. Oh, rather in the second sector. How much more time can he find in the final sector? 2 more corners to negotiate through turn 19. Oh, a bit wide and invalidates. Oh dear. That's it, session over for Cameron. I think Peyton has retired on track, so he can't improve, and neither can Arbart. He's 5 seconds down. Andy, though, looks like he's still on a flying lap. Coming through turn 16, 17, and 18. Around turn 19, 5th gear. Doesn't run too wide on the exit. 1 corner remains. 3rd gear doesn't quite hit the apex. Oh, and he... Wow. Just decided to back off at the line, I suppose. Barmer Up by 0.3 of a second. I don't think he's purple though to the middle sector, but he's made a mistake running off the racetrack and invalidating his lap. That, I think, means it's qualifying over for everybody. So Cameron will start on pole position here at COTA. Oh, as I think Barmer almost went into the wall. In fact, I think he might have went into the wall. As Passassin will come into the pit lane. We can wrap up quali. So, let's have a look at who's starting on what. Every single driver inside the top 10 is starting on the soft tyre. All of them. Very, very interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see what the drivers outside the top 10 do. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, driver at the bottom of the order, JD TV8. He had an outstanding qualifying ban from France, I think. So that's why he didn't set a lap time. Cam had trouble joining the session, but I think he's in now. He'll start from P16. And there we are. 61 thousandths of a second separating the top two in the end, but it's Cameron on pole, followed by Passassin, Jack in P3, Arbar in P4, followed by Peyton, Andy, Barmer, Aaron, Express, and Kitten Pether rounds out the top 10. Then we've got Bersey, Wingit, Vermoo, Electric Blade, Dream in P15. Then we got Cam and JD after not setting times. They'll start from the back in P16 and 17. So a nice, healthy field of 17 cars for this race. The more the merrier, as it were. We can now look forward to the race itself. Now, from the weather report we got before the race, we shouldn't see any wet weather. But be mindful that this game is made by Codemasters and anything could go wrong at any point. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if we saw a bit of wet weather, because it is supposed to be overcast for this race, as you can see. So, who starts on what? That is the question. It's been a while since I've done a league race here at COTA, but I'm pretty certain a two-stop strategy is somewhat doable here. Purely because of the raw pace of the soft tyre. It's got really, really great pace. It's like 2 seconds quicker than a medium set of tyres. But it wears out quite quickly, and when it hits a drop-off point, it really hits a drop-off point. Tyres become quite rubbish. Hard tyre around here, I don't know how usable it would be. But I imagine for a one-stop, you would have to do a medium-hard race, I would think. I don't think the soft tyre can last long enough for you to do a soft-medium or a medium-soft. I might be proven wrong, though. We'll have to wait and see what the drivers do for the race. But what we can see is who starts on what tyre outside the top 10 as the drivers set off on their formation lap. So we'll get rid of the interval for now. Let's have a look at tyres. So, top 10 we know starting on the soft compound tyre. First driver outside the top 10 is Bersey in P11, starting on a set of mediums. Wingit in P12, starting on a set of softs. Vermoo in P13, starting on medium. Same with Electric Blade in P14. Dream in P15, starting on softs. Same with Cam in P16. JD at the back of the field has elected to start on the medium compound tyres. So we've got 4 drivers on the mediums. That means 13 drivers on the soft tyre. For these medium runners, their plan is to stay out of trouble early in the race. Probably try and make up a couple of positions early on. But if they get damaged, their race really does take a blow. Because for them, they want to really try and maximise this medium stint. And in order to do that, you need to stay out of trouble. Now, Cam's car is ghosting. I don't know if that's the AI. There's one really easy way to check. You just watch the brake and throttle input. See that? Entering turn 12? That's definitely an AI. That's the easiest way to tell. Rightio. So we know who's starting on what. We'll get rid of this as well. Look at that. See, that's a lot more appropriate. That size leaderboard. But anyway. Keep the track map up. Just so then we can see any sort of incidents if they do occur on the first lap. Lining up to his grid slot is Passassin. There we are. Cameron is ready to race here. Passassin alongside. These two are quite quick. Who will lead into turn 1 after the all-important race start? JD is ready to race at the back of the field as well. We got 5 red lights. And it's lights out. And away we go. Cameron converts well off the line. The field make their way up towards turn 1. Can Assassin send it? He tries. And he keeps it there. The leaders are side by side. Heading down to turn 2. And Arbar is into the wall. Hard. And it's Cameron leading the way from Assassin, Jack, Andy, Peyton in P5, Barmer in P6. And there's Arbar right there at the back of shot after losing control of the car at turn 1. I imagine he would have a lot of damage. I'm surprised he's still in the race, to be quite honest. Typically, by hitting the wall quite hard, the game is typically going to retire your car, but he's still in the race. I can't see it. The front wing from there. I'll have a look at him in just a moment. Keep an eye on these two. Passassin looking around the outside. Can't quite get it done just yet. Andy and Jack are battling for P3 as well. They go side by side through turn 13 and through 14. Heading into 15, Jack squeezes the McLaren. Just squeezes him. Nothing too harmful being done there. Bit of action going on in the background with the midfield trying to sort themselves out. But other than Arbar's turn 1 incident, it's been a fairly tame lap. Fairly tame opening lap here at COTA. Cameron weaving down the pit straight, just trying to break the toe to keep Passassin at bay. Heading through the S's again. Everyone's behaving themselves. It's good to see. And let's see here. Now, Arbar, he has pitted in. What has he hopped onto out of curiosity? Set of mediums on his car now. Bring up the intervals. You can see everyone in the top 10 is within a second of each other. You can see the massive amount of weaving going on here. With Cameron desperately trying to break the toe. Into turn 12 we go. Andy stalking Jack as best he can to try and find a way past, maybe force Jack into a mistake. Coming through turn 15. Everybody's still following one another, not doing anything silly just yet. Coming around turn 19. Dream has overtaken Electric Blade for P13. Coming around the final corner now. DRS will be enabled this lap. You can see Cameron again weaving, trying to break the toe. Heading up and around turn 1. Gap is half a second between the top two. Down the hill, round turn 2. Assassin, he'll be eating up all the dirty air coming off the Mercedes of Cameron. Losing a little bit of time. Well, actually, according to the interval, he hasn't lost any time at all. Got a lot of confidence through that S section. He's got a lot of speed. Bit wide there. That might have been a warning. I'm pretty sure he had all four wheels off the racetrack. Oh, he's very close, Assassin, and I reckon he'll go for it. I don't think there's anything Cameron can do in this scenario. Side by side. Assassin makes his way into the lead, overtaking Cameron before the braking zone. A bit of side-by-side action here as the bollard gets taken out at turn 12. With Peyton and Barmer scrapping it out for P5. Bit of shenanigans going on at the bottom half of the field. Oh, Barmer, Peyton. Oh, and a spin! That's Cameron and Andy. They've come together. Oh, and Kit and Petter down the inside of Hawkey. Oh, that could have been really nasty. Cameron's going again. Does he have wing damage on that Mercedes? Let's find out. He's staying out. So he doesn't have damage. Jack's into the pits. He must have damage. Oh, wow. Oh. What's going on between these two, I wonder? Migrating host. Bursey has left the session. Ah, I see. That's why that happened. That's why there was a bit of a glitchy pit lane, is because the host left. There we go. Oh, Barmer, a big wiggle there at turn 9. Peyton's trying to hang on to second place. Assassin, he's now got a 2.8 second lead after what happened to Cameron. I wonder if the two made contact at turn 15 and as a result Cameron was spun out. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, as Barmer around the outside of turn 12 gives him the inside line at 13. Peyton fights though. This will give him the inside line at turn 15. It's side by side. And they're going to be side by side through turn 16 as well. And 17. Peyton putting up a fight here. Barmer can't hang it around the outside at turn 19. He gives in. Kitten Petter has really closed in as well. He's loving this battle in front. Obama should have DRS. He does. He's closing in. Looking down the inside. Gets it done for now. He's into P2. Cameron has overtaken Express for P5 as well. Making his charge back through the field. Aaron has overtaken Express as well into P6. Look at that train of cars as well. Group of 3 between Wingit, Vermoo and Dream. So there's a few good battles going on at the moment. A bit wide there, Andy. I saw that in the background. He'll be trying to make his way back towards the front as well after being caught up with Cameron. Here comes Andy, closing in on Express, looking down the inside. Fairly simple move for the McLaren driver, though he kind of... Oh, sorry, I was riding on board with Express. I was going to say, Andy, you massively overshot that, but no, I was on board with Express. Vermoo and his teammate Wingit. In P9 and P10, they've got Dream right behind as well. So there's a few battles going on as Andy goes into the pits. So, does he have damage on the car, out of curiosity? He does. Front wing change for Andy. On it goes. He'll be a long way behind the field. Barmer now trying to pull away from Peyton. Gap is 0.8 of a second as they go through turn 9. Over the crest down the hill. making their way towards the hairpin. Peyton's in a bit of trouble. He won't have DRS on this straight. Kitten Petter will close in. There's Cameron and Aaron just in the background. Not using any battery, Kitten Petter. Being mindful not to spend too much. Jersey has rejoined the session as Aaron overtakes Cameron for P6. Down the back straight, heading into turn 12. Oh, Cameron looking down the inside, the big send from the Mercedes driver. Parks the bus, they make contact. Aaron loses the back end a little bit. And I think he has damage. Would certainly think so with that sort of contact. Somebody is going into the pits. It's Kitten Petter and Peyton. They're both going in. Oh, I might be wrong. Aaron is still keeping up with Cameron. Car doesn't appear like it's understeering either. So maybe he did get away with that. I'm quite surprised. Typically with even the slightest of contact, you can easily get wing damage, but I think Aaron has gotten away with it. Coming down the hill around turn 11 is Barmer. There's a fair old gap between him and Passassin. I don't really know what it is because the leaderboard is not working at the moment, as Jack has lost it entering turn 3. So he must have lost control through turn 2, crashed into the barrier at the entry of turn 3. So he has to do an entire lap with wing damage. Isn't that just a great bit of fun? Oh, push off the circuit there, wing it. Keeps it down the inside of turn 13. There's side by side through 14, heading into 15. There's more contact. A bit of a wiggle there as well for wing it. Bit sideways there as well on the exit. Into the pits goes Barmer. The gap between him and Passassin, I think that was 4.6 seconds when he entered the pits. So Passassin steadily pulling away. Aaron's keeping Cameron honest, staying right behind. So it just shows that Aaron didn't get any damage at all with that contact at the hairpin of turn 15. JD, a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. He's in P6 at the moment. Pretty solid considering he started from 17th. So he's made up 11 places over the course of the race so far. Of course, some of those places are due to the pit stop shuffle. Dream. He's going to have an Alpine right on his gearbox in a moment. Here comes JD looking down the inside. Can't commit to the move though. I think he could have if he really wanted to, JD. He could have sent it down the inside. Kitten Petter overtaking Burzy. That is for P11. Coming around turn 15 now. Electric Blade is right behind as well. There's Wing It in the Ferrari. Bit of a lift off there. Just to keep the car nice and stable through turn 19. Dream going into the pits. Wing It, a 3-second time penalty. Oh dear. Now Blade, he won't be able to close in too much. As you can see, JD has DRS. But for Electric Blade, he might be able to take advantage of this. If he can keep up with the Alpine through the first sector, he might be able to pass JD down the straightaway towards turn 12. Through the S's, you can see 4.5 tenths of a second. Increasing to 5.5. He needs to get a good run through the hairpin of turn 11. If he can do that, he has a shot of getting by. JD, he won't have DRS available to him. Gap is 6/10, and you see Electric Blade using up his battery to close the gap, sitting in the slipstream, closing in. JD out of battery, you can see the flashing light, and Electric Blade goes through into P5. JD can't do too much to retaliate. Out in front, Assassin coming into the pits. Doesn't speed into the pit lane. He's got a healthy margin to Cameron. Jack at the back of the field has got a 3-second time penalty. Goes on to a set of medium compound tyres, and away he goes out of the pits. Cameron and Aaron follow suit. And Wingett has come in as well. There we are. Obama on the medium tyres, he's 1 second behind Peyton. Through the S's. The gap stays at 1 second, so Peyton and Barmer's got similar pace at the moment. Assassin needs to get by. Bit of traffic here down the inside of JD at the hairpin of turn 11. He'll get DRS. Close the gap on Electric Blade, who's low on battery. Probably see a big send here. Actually, no, he'll get him well before the braking zone. How about that? Aston Martin's got a lot of straight line speed. Overshot the corner a little bit though. Didn't have a great exit. Now he just needs to get by Vermeulen in the Ferrari. He's got clear air in front. Let's see here. Now, when will these fellas pit, I wonder? From what some people are doing, I reckon these fellas might pit lap 19 or so, if they're going to try and do a medium soft race. If they're not doing a medium soft race, I imagine they'll be pitting fairly shortly, maybe lap 15 or so. Get onto the soft tyre and then do 2 stints on 2 sets of soft tyres. So be mindful of that lap count. $14 to 17 laps. Okay. So some people might be trying to do a one-stop, doing soft medium or medium soft, if that's the case. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Assassin, this should be a fairly simple overtake. Overtakes Vermeulen to take the lead once again. You can see he'll have clear air in front of him, which will allow him to put the hammer down. JD has overtaken Electric Blade for 3rd place. Lovely aerial shot here of the circuit. Peyton closing in. He would want to get by as soon as possible. Aaron has overtaken Kitten Petter. That is for P8. Going through the triple right-hander. Peyton, I reckon he'll have a go at turn 1. If he can get the run out of the final corner. Oh, never mind. Electric Blade misjudges the final turn. Almost goes into the back of JD. He took avoiding action, but as a result he lost a place to Peyton. Cameron setting fastest lap. Coming through turn 1. And down the hill around turn 2. Peyton he has to put up with the dirty air coming off the Alpine. Oh, but look how much quicker he was, my goodness. Oh, but a lot of understeer there at turn 7, through turn 8. Then turn 9, sparks fly there, coming off the Alpine. Down the hill, round turn 10. JD backs off. Tell you what, who will get DRS here out of the two? Will it be JD or Peyton? It'll be JD. Well, there we are. He's going to retake the position. There's nothing Peyton can do about it. Into turn 12 we go. Big lock up there from somebody. Saw that big puff of white smoke come up there in the braking zone at turn 12. No, good stuff at the moment. And a nice little play there from JD to retake third place. Just backed off enough so he would get DRS, and he retakes third. And coming into the pits is JD. At the end of lap 12, he's in. Same with Vermeulen. Persasson sets fastest lap. Obviously, he's out in front and in clear air, so only stands to reason that he sets fastest lap. Soft tyres going on the cars. And the way they go out of the pits. Barmer and Electric Blade having a battle here. Through the S's. Barmer can't do a thing through here. Just has to sit behind, be patient, wait for the right moment. There's also Burzy coming out of the pits. He's on hard tyres down in 15th place. Just in front of him is his teammate Arba, who made a mistake on the first lap, spinning out, crashing into the barrier on the left-hand side of the circuit when exiting turn 1. Surprised to see we haven't had a safety car throughout this race. We're closing in on the halfway mark and we haven't had a single one. What really is great news, though, is that we haven't had a single retirement just yet. That's really good to see. Everybody is behaving themselves accordingly. And not getting into too many incidents. So, Peyton, he'll have to make a stop onto the mediums at some point. He'll probably do it in the next 2 laps or so. Barmer, he would like to get a move on, try and catch up and overtake Peyton. Or at least try and battle him a little bit. With Peyton by himself, he's not really losing any time. If Barmer battles him, then he'll start to lose time. Ooh, as Wingett... Ah, I spoke too soon. Wingett has retired in the pit lane, I believe. So he's our first retirement from the race. Oh, and Cameron's now on the back of this too. He would want to get by Electric Blade as soon as possible. He's got DRS on his side. He's not going to use any battery. Just close in and pass the Haas. Nice and simple. Very elementary. And into 4th place he goes. Vermeulen and Dream side by side. Vermeulen into 9th place, overtaking the Red Bull. Good to see it still has its tribute livery. Came with the 1.12 update. And it's good to see that the helmet glitch is still in the game. You can see him, Vermeulen, just wearing the balaclava. Amazing. Some 1950s Grand Prix racing right there. Where they only used to wear leather caps. Cameron closing in on his teammate. He's on fresher tyres. I'm sure he would like to get by. Try and close the gap on Persasson. Though in the context of the championship, Barmer is the only driver in a position where he can challenge Persasson. It's a fairly big gap between the top 2 and 3rd place, so it'd be very interesting to see how these two play against each other. because Cameron is closing in. They're going to have to battle. Or Barmer just lets him by. Suppose we'll find out in a few moments. Rest of the field is fairly well spread out. Bit surprised by this. Typically at COTA you get sort of pack racing, where you get these groups formed, they battle it out for position. We don't really have that at the moment. Everybody's kind of spread out. Coming down the hill. Around turn 19. One more corner to negotiate. Turn 20, and the gap is 0.8 of a second. It's increased to 0.9. Cameron will have DRS and close the gap. Electric Blade staying out for another lap as well, so I reckon he's trying to do a one-stop. JD closing in on Dream here, up towards turn 1. Looks to the inside, doesn't commit to a move though. Stays behind the Red Bull for now. Applying a lot of pressure here. Can't pass through the S's though. Too tough. Arba in the pits. He'll probably put on another set of mediums. He does. He'll leave the pit lane. Behind Cam, maybe? Yeah, he will be behind Cam. JD looks, doesn't commit to a move just yet. Oh, but Dream is wide. And here comes JD. He'll have DRS as well. And there we are. JD into 10th place. Look at him pull away with the power of DRS. My goodness. Cameron's still behind Barmer. Gap is a little over half a second between the two. Over the course of the lap, I reckon Cameron has gained about 0.2 or so. See what, Barmer can really get that final corner absolutely right. He finds a 10th, maybe a 10th or a half. Can't speak. You can find a 10th or a 10th and a half in that final corner. Just pulls away just ever so slightly. Dream into the pits. He'll be putting on mediums. Yep. There we are. He'll go to the end of the race on those. There's Peyton. Here comes Barmer and Cameron. Electric Blade was in the back of shot there, doing another lap on those mediums. So he's trying to stretch them out as far as they can go. Chuck on the soft tyre and go to the end. Cameron not really closing in. He's got a lot of battery. He's saved up a lot, and you can hear there. Lifting off the throttle quite a bit. He's going to stay behind his teammate here. Comes through turn 13, so the plan for Cameron, just stay in behind for now. Might try and pass during the pit stop period. And these drivers change onto the soft tyre if they do. Peyton going into the pits. From second place, he'll be chucking on the medium compound tyre. How much time will he lose? Electric Blade is into the pits as well. On go a set of mediums. Drops down to P7. The two Alpines are coming. So it drops down to P9. Kind of in clear air. Express isn't too far in front. But for now, he should have relatively clear air. Should at least set a half decent outlet. Cameron really close to his teammate now. I think surely now he'll just pass. Using a bit of battery, closing in. Doesn't go for the move. keeps Barmer in second. Interesting. So a bit of tactics going on between these two. While that's going on, Persassin is constantly increasing his lead. He's now got a 12.5 second margin over Barmer. Unless there's a safety car at some point, I don't think that gap will close up. Let's see here. Will Cameron go for it this time? No? Again, he's just lifting off, staying behind. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Peyton, though, I don't think he'll be doing any such thing. Up the hill towards turn 1, down the inside. Thank you very much, he says. I'll take P8. Nice, clean, simple move. His next target is JD. Gap of 1.5 seconds. On fresh tyres, he should close the gap up relatively quickly. The rest of the battles on track, though, seem to be fairly tame, timid. Not much going on as Cameron finally overtakes his teammate. Takes second place. Try and get a move on. Gap is 12.7 seconds as Bursey gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Well, hello. Electric Blade overtaking Andy. This is for P10. And he's on fresh rubber as well, so Electric Blade is in quite a nice spot here. He's got 3.2 seconds to make up to the car in front, that being Express in the Alpine. Peyton now within half a second of the car in front. He'll be looking to pass JD as soon as possible, probably in the same spot as he overtook Express. At turn 1, oh, JD losing control of the car. Managed to gather it back up. Makes Peyton's job that little bit easier. He's through into 7th, though. JD puts up a fight down the inside at turn 1. Peyton, though, will get the traction on the exit. And through he goes into 7th place. Vermeer now within a second of Kit and Petter. Vermeer will be making another stop, I think. Don't think those tyres can do 15 laps. You'll have DRS here to close the gap. Running low on battery though. 4%, 3%, 1%. No percent. He used up all his battery to try and close that gap. Kit and Petter, he's running low too, you can tell from the flashing light. So both drivers in a bit of strife when it comes to battery. Blade now on the back of Express, who runs wide at turn 15. Electric Blade around the outside, can he make this stick? The answer is yes, he's through into 9th place. Now he's got JD in front as Express goes into the pit. So does JD. So they're making their final pit stops. Oh, and it's going to be a double stack for Alpine. Oh, dear. That's not great for Express. Going to lose, what, maybe 5 or so seconds because of that. Here comes Bursey and Dream. And he's on a set of mediums, interesting. Jack, a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Exits the pits. Here comes Arba. This is going to be tight between these two. Round turn 1 they go. Down the hill. Round turn 2. Arba looking around the outside. Gets it done as well. Express on cold tyres. He's not able to push on them. He has to be quite careful to try and get them up to temperature. But his tyres are up to temperature. He could just send it around the outside, fully committed. Made the move stick. Remember, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Through the triple right-hander comes Kittenpetter and Vermoo. Vermoo just chipping away at the gap, but I'm pretty sure he has to make another stop at some stage, and Kittenpetter very sideways there at the final quarter. Peyton is closing in as well in the Alfa Romeo. Through turn 2. Then into the S's. Gap is 0.4 of a second. Through turn 7 and into turn 8, the gap has increased quite a bit to almost 0.8. Now over 0.8. Now 0.9 of a second. My goodness. And here comes Peyton. He's got a run. Got a little bit of battery to play with as well, using overtake, using DRS. Closing in. Peyton looks to the inside, goes deep on the brakes, pulls it up, takes P6 away from Vermoo. I have to say, one thing that Cody's have done pretty well is the heat haze coming from the exhaust. See that haze coming off the back of the car? It's actually pretty well done. I like it. In most modern video games, heat haze isn't particularly well demonstrated, but there it's pretty well done. Here comes Peyton to overtake Kittenpetter. Petter has no DRS. He can't really defend his position. So Peyton into P5. His next target is Aaron Carey. 3.6 seconds up the road on 12 lap old mediums. I reckon with the amount of laps remaining, the top 4, they're going to try and go to the end on those tyres. I don't think they're making another pit stop. They're going to try and go to the end. So for Aaron, he needs to get his head down. Try and manage that gap as best he can. And Vermoo, he might be trying to do the same thing. I reckon if he doesn't pit this lap, he's going to try and go to the end on those tyres. Here he comes, down the inside of Kittenpetter. Nice move there, very simple. As Jack has retired in the pit lane, our second retirement of the race. Rather amazingly, we haven't had a single safety car. Everyone has had no incident, other than Arba at turn 1 on lap 1. That was the only major incident of this entire race. Jack has left the session. I don't honestly know where to look. Gaps are just a bit too big everywhere as Kittenpetter makes a mistake at turn 1. Bit sideways there. Through the S's comes Vermoo. Nice and steady at the moment, trying to conserve his tyres. Kittenpetter, his hard tyres should be fairly okay. They should make it quite easily. And there's Electric Blade, just in the back of shot on 5 lap old softs. He's trying his best to close that gap. Try and take a few more positions. Kittenpetter using DRS. Let's try and close the gap on Vermoo and try and keep Electric Blade at bay. Peyton, he's now closed in to 1.5 seconds behind Aaron. Just chipping away. But he does have a penalty next to his name, Peyton. I believe that's 3 seconds. Could probably get rid of the tie graphic now. There we are. So 3 seconds next to his name. So if he wants to keep P4, if he does overtake Aaron, he needs to build up a 3-second margin. Closing the gap up the hill. Round turn 1 we come. Using all the curve on the inside. Surprised that bollard is still there, in fairness. That bollard on the inside of turn 1 typically gets knocked out, but it's still there. It's like the bollard at turn 12. Typically that gets knocked out, and I think it has in this race. I think Barmer took it out, if memory serves me right. Peyton now within a second. Well within a second of Aaron. Will he get him on this lap? Doesn't have a lot of battery. Neither does Aaron. Into turn 12. Now right on his gearbox. Through turn 13 and 14. And into the tight hairpin of 15. Big carpet of rubber there in the braking zone. Being laid out by the people who don't use ABS. Through turn 19. One corner left. Tight stuff. Aaron makes a bit of a hash of the final corner as well. Makes Peyton's job a lot easier. He moves into 4th place with 3 laps to go. Needs to pull away by a second a lap, and that's a very tall order. Electric Blade getting by Kitten Petter as well on the pit straight, moving into 7th place. He's got Vermoo in front, who is still out there on soft tyres. I guess he's going to try and go to the end, and Aaron, oh dear, he's copped a 3-second tying penalty. That was the only way, realistically, that Peyton was going to hang on to 4th, was that Aaron was going to get a penalty. And that's exactly what he's done. He's got 3 seconds. Puts them on even ground. So Peyton, he now doesn't have to worry about pushing too hard. He can just manage his 4th place. Get to the checkered flag. Bursey, a 3-second time penalty, increasing his tally to 12. He's battling with Dream at the moment. And there's Express as well. And Arbar. There's a 4-way fight here for 11th place. As JD overtakes Andy for P9. Into turn 12 we go. Dream, Arbar, side by side. Express and Bursey side by side too. Oh, that's tight stuff. Unfortunately, this is for nothing. Top 10 score. Bursey very wide. Compromised Dream there a little bit, who had to slow down to avoid contact. Electric Blade overtakes Vermoo as well for P6. Around the final corner they come, this big group of cars. That's in front though. Look at that. 17 seconds effectively. The gap between Passassin and Cameron, that is massive. That is really massive. Just got his head down and hasn't made a mistake. He's not made a single mistake. Though, I do recall Cameron spinning out at turn 15, and I just can't help but wonder if it was him and Passassin making contact at that turn. But Passassin, he's got one more lap to do to claim what has been quite the dominant victory here at COTA. Doesn't have to push too hard, just needs to do one lap without making any mistake. Arba overtaking Express for P11. And with the altered results, I think we'll see Kitten Petter jump up a place. Up into P7. And we'll see Bursey jump down a position to P14. Other than that, I think everybody will stay as they are. Still, that gap is increasing. There you go. It's increased to 17.4 seconds. I think that's 17.5 as Arba gets a 3-second time penalty. He's now on even ground with Express. Car directly behind him. Few more corners to negotiate now. 18.2 seconds. My goodness. What a superb performance this has been from Passassin. Only set one legitimate flying lap in qualifying. Qualified P2. But ever since the start of the race, he's been completely untouchable. Passassin claims the win here at Kota. Claims the win here for the United States Grand Prix. Cameron will come around the final corner to claim P2. He won't give it to his teammate Barmer. So that gap between Passassin and Barmer has increased that little bit more. With Barmer finishing P3, Peyton P4, Aaron P5, Electric Blade P6. A really solid day for Haas. Vermeulen will finish in 8th place with Kitten Petter jumping up a position into P7. Arba is given a 10-second time penalty. Well, he's going to jump down the order now, isn't he? JD will finish in P9. Express will round out the top 10. Andy has dropped down quite a bit. What happened to Andy at the end? He was behind JD, was he not? Huh. Electric Blade, given driver of the day. We'll see his performance in the final results screen, but first, the podium celebrations. Oh, did Peyton run out of fuel, did he? That's alright, he had a big enough margin to hang on. He was right. With Assassin, another victory. Cameron P2, Barmer P3. Taking a win at your home Grand Prix is always very special. Probably that little bit more special with that big of a margin. 18.823 seconds. Quite the gap. Quite the gap indeed. Barmer P3. So a solid day overall for Mercedes-Benz. Alfa Romeo driver P-Dog Peyton finishes in P4. Aaron from P8 to P5. Driver of the day performance from Electric Blade from P14 to P6. He'll be very happy with that. Kitten Petter from P10 to P7. Vermeulen from P13 to P8. JD from the back of the field to 9th. Making up 8 places, the same amount as Electric Blade. And Express will round out the top 10. Andy. Maybe he too ran out of fuel. That's why he dropped so far back. Because I'm pretty sure he and JD were battling for P9 and 10. But in the end, Andy will finish P11. Dream, P12 from P15. Arba. That mistake on lap 1 basically ruined his whole race. He'll finish P13. Bursey, P14. Cam, a lap down, finishes in P15. Only 2 retirements. Jack Hawkey and Wing It. And I think we're stuck on this screen. Don't think we can press pause here, can we? No. We can't leave here. I do so love this game. Well, certainly wasn't the most amazing race in the world, but this is Formula 1 after all. can't be exciting every single week. But this race certainly had its moments. There was some good racing, some good battles here and there, and generally just some very good driving, particularly towards the front. But with the race finally over, it's time for us to end the stream. Tune in next week as the AM1 Championship will start up again. But until then, I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you for round 12 at Marina Bay Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. Next week is going to be very, very long. Hope to see you all there, but until then, it's goodbye.